everyone. Welcome to CMO Weekly, the show where we sit down with the world's top executives to uncover the bold moves, tough lessons, and breakthrough ideas that have shaped their journey. Every episode will go beyond the headlines to explore what it really takes to build brands, lead teams, and stay ahead in a fast-changing industry. I'm Hayley Clover, and this is CMO Weekly. This episode is brought to you by OpenFortune, the only marketing company putting your brand inside of the actual fortune cookies. Yeah, those cookies that you break open after dinner, they are now prime real estate for your brand message. OpenFortune distributes millions of branded fortunes every month through hundreds of thousands of restaurants worldwide, giving brands a moment of surprise and attention that no banner ad can match. So if you want to reach people when they're having fun and they're engaged, go learn more on openfortune.com. Alrighty, my guest today has been at the center of one of Europe's fastest growing betting brands. Adam Lamentowicz is the Chief Commercial Officer for Central and Eastern Europe at Superbet, where he leads expansion across some of the most dynamic regulated markets in the world. Before this role, Adam served as the CEO of Superbet Poland, building the brand in one of Europe's most competitive gaming environments. With senior leadership experience at companies like Intralot and Totalek, how did I pronounce that one wrong? Totalek. And a reputation for tailoring strategies to local cultures instead of copy and paste global approaches. Adam brings a deep perspective on what it takes to succeed in emerging markets. So, Adam, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and looking forward to this.
Me too. We were just talking off camera. Good. He gets to sit. He's been busy at the SBC conference. Your bio obviously talked about you having a knack for understanding local cultures and things like that. And he was just telling me off camera that he speaks 3 languages fluently, but can understand 6 in total, which I think is absolutely amazing. So that makes sense. Is that part of the reason why you think you can kind of dive into different cultures so well?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, we are very much different. Even though we are all humans, we have our own different mentalities, different cultures, and we think about how we approach problems is very much different per jurisdiction and per country. So understanding the language and understanding the history of each country and where the people come from in terms of how they operate and what is troubling them on an everyday basis is absolutely key to success. Because how, let's say, AI is taking over some stuff, at the end of the day, the soft skill and how we manage the teams is absolutely critical. How we can empower them, make sure that they feel wanted and admired and inspire them. After all, it's absolutely critical. And language is this window to the culture of every nation.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, so tell me a little bit about how you found yourself, where you are today. How did your career kind of get started?
Yeah, we don't have so much time, so I would be very. Look.
Back when you were born. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So I'm still. Let's say I have close to 30 years of career. Initially, I started in telecom distribution, so it was a core retail business. I tried different industries, consulting, renewable energy. I was really starting very early, so I started being entrepreneurial at 17, and then moved on as I graduated from different studies, and I wanted to put it into practice into bigger organizations. So then moved to telco. From telco, I moved mainly to chemical business, where basically it was renewable energy, logistics, basically trains, and big part of this was a German company dealing with the chemical sector, where I spent close to a decade building chemical plants, doing M&As, reorganizing businesses, restructuring. So it was really mind-opening and traveling across the globe several times and spending time with 250 flights a year in different very diverse places of the world. And after that, I accidentally, I think as most of us, joined gaming industry. At that time, Intralot called me up. They found me through some references, through some recommendation, friendly referral, and they asked me to lead their Polish business, which went through some difficulties and transformation. So I took it mainly as a transformation project. But the moment I understood how dynamic the gaming industry is, how you have to combine the understanding of the customer, the technology, the regulatory regimes, which are so diverse. So you have the element of working closely with governments. You have element of technology where you basically have a very close relationship with tech, and on top of it, you have the B2C approach that you have to have an understanding of the customer. The moment I understood that this is it in terms of gaming, sports and gaming, lottery, whatever, it doesn't matter in terms of vertical. The last 15 years was quite a journey,
I bet.
and it's keep getting better, to be honest.
That's great.
So
That's the goal, right? Having something that you feel challenged enough where you're continuing to learn and always, enjoying what you're doing on a daily
and to
basis.
be honest, you cannot find the same mix of all these challenges which I just mentioned to you
Yeah.
in other industries. So a couple of years back, I think it was like 7-8 years ago, maybe, I was thinking maybe it's time to, I close a decade in gaming, maybe I will do something else. And I was looking around and I said, but I will not find the same thrill anywhere. So I basically stopped there and I focused, and I decided this is it. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about Superbet. Can you explain to the folks that maybe haven't heard of Superbet first, in a very simple way, what it is?
Yeah, so Superbet is obviously a sports and gaming operator. Initially, it started from Romania as a retail business, and it grew into have become a solid Central Eastern European operator. And with our bold move into enter Brazil just about 18 months ago, and with acquisition of Napoleon in Belgium, we became basically quite a big global player. I think we are now listed as 11th largest gaming company based on EGR, let's say, ranks.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
And the last, let's say, 5-6 years were extremely dynamic for the business. So, as you probably have heard, initially in about 6 years ago, Blackstone has invested into the business, which was founded by Sasha Dragic, our founder and now the CEO. And then from that, it started to be from Romania. It opened Poland. This is where I joined the business to open up Poland, to make it the first international brand. And then from there, we went through different M&As and organic entry points to different jurisdictions. And in the same time, we grew immensely. So we are number one, the largest operator in Romania, second largest in Poland.
Wow.
The market leader in Belgium, and we entered Serbia successfully, and we are growing significantly there. And as I said, the guys on the ground in Brazil, under the lead of my colleague Eamon, are doing an amazing job also in Brazil, growing. The exit rate will be probably putting us. We are already a podium player, and it's putting us on the third position.
Do you actively talk about wanting to break into the top 10? If you're sitting at 11 right now, is that a focus when you all are sitting around the table and discussing, what needs to be done? Is it that's the goal, or what
I
do
think
you
it's
look
not.
at?
Yeah, it's not the goal.
Okay.
The goal. It's a little bit of validation that what we are doing is right.
Sure.
I think it's the most important is that we stay focused on our core values as Superbet. So the core value at Superbet is do what is right. And the do what is right is what is right, first of all, for the customer. So it's customers, so then it's our employees, and then there is the other stakeholders. So this is how we think, and this is how Sasha
do the right
created the
thing.
business.
It's responsible gaming in a sense, and providing that trust factor and doing things in the right way. Is that what you mean?
Do what is right has many different meanings, because if you are thinking about your customer, should I give this customer extra generosity even though it might not be a genuine in his or her behavior?
Sure.
Yes, do what is right. If you were the customer, how would you like to be treated? Do what is right for the customer. Do what is right for your peers. Do what is right for each other.
Right.
So for us, it's more about do what is right overall, and then obviously there is element of CSR, social responsibility, how much we always give back to society, how much we always give back in terms of not only sponsorship, but also other non-visible activities.
Right.
So how we build community around ourselves. So
Right.
yeah, do what is right is absolutely critical. And then the customer centricity is what, to be honest, when I found, or basically Superbet found me or whatever, when I met Sasha with his focus on the customer, many companies say customer first. I don't think we can find any company that will say differently.
Sure.
But some companies talk about it, and some companies are actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I think this is absolutely the USP, the differentiating factor, and how we operate. And then there's a focus on product. So we're a product-driven organization. Every decision that we take is through the product lens, and staying close to the customer, how we work with the customer mindset. Okay, this is good for the customer, so let's make sure that our product addresses. We cannot develop a product that will have close all the needs, but how we prioritize, how we make sure that we stay close to key values. And another element around which we have built this company is definitely GTI, we call it, for the motorheads. So it's generosity, trust, innovation. So now it's more about innovation around product. It's trust, how we build trust with our customers and make sure that there is a loyal customer base, that we have a repetitive use, that we don't treat customers with a short-term lens.
Yeah.
And then there's a generosity, which obviously it's not just generosity, just bonus or it's a right generosity to the right customers in the right form, in a way that is fair, is well understood by the customer. So these are the core principles. And then if you think about the culture of the business, this is basically it. And then it transforms itself to that it is what it is.
Yeah.
But from retail operations, that just 6 years ago, mainly we were retail Romanian business, and today we are online business with very strong retail presence. Obviously, it's still in Romania, but overall we are a pure digital business with running multiple brands in multiple jurisdictions. So
it's awesome.
Yeah. So it's really addictive in terms of how
many scaling and wanting to grow. Yeah.
How much you do, and to make sure that we take the people on the journey with us, and how we work with the teams, how we make sure that we can grow and scale and grow the talent from inside and work with the people that we have among our ranks.
Right. Okay, so GTI, love that. Talk to me about the I portion, the innovation portion.
Yeah.
What is, if you could talk about it, what's being innovated right now for Superbet? Are there new things on the horizon that are really exciting to the business?
Look, first of all, we are a sports betting brand in its core. So while obviously when you look at the trends and about the gaming and about the online casino world, obviously this is very important for our P&L and over the scale. But we as Superbet, as a hero brand, this is absolutely sports. Yeah. So focusing on improving customer journeys, frictionless journeys in terms of what kind of bet, what kind of proposition, personalization, and making sure that we take it to a slightly different level. This is absolutely at the core of sports betting. Yeah. When it comes to gaming, again, personalization, make sure that you can build on trust and make sure. Here in gaming, the majority of the proposition is highly commoditized. So same games, relatively same looking websites. So how you can differentiate? You can differentiate around the customer service, how you work with the customers, how you basically make sure that you understand behavioral patterns. So here we do a lot of work around CRM, but CRM may sound very dry. It's more about looking much deeper into customer behaviors, working much more and deeper than transactions. Yeah. So we are looking after experiences. We are looking after
what somebody actually does.
Somebody does, and if somebody likes this particular game or games of this kind of category, why they should go somewhere else. So utilizing different tools and positioning ourselves differently in the mindset. We are working also on creating multiple brand ecosystem in the same time in our existing markets. Yeah. So obviously there's lots to be done. And the second element that we continuously grow is omnichannel. So while majority, if you look at this conference, online is basically dominating the world, right? But if you think, if we look at let's say retail business, if you utilize it properly across the channels, and it's in terms of being at your touch point to the customer and making sure that you create also, you use it as a trust, as your shop window, that this is also something that we continuously work on and develop. because we see that in markets where we have retail, or where the loyalty, the trust is at a completely different level. So.
Well, it's the two words that have come up the most every time I'm at a gaming conference doing interviews: trust, loyalty. I mean, being able to get referrals and word of mouth, and having somebody that's a loyal customer, loyal sports bettor, to tell their friends that this is the platform that you should use, this is the one they want, that they trust the most, is so important, because it seems like once you do get a customer like that and that's loyal, they're loyal to you and you specifically, and so it kind of helps grow that loyal consumer.
Look, the competition is very high. I mean, in Romania alone today we have 90 websites up and running.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we have 18 million people country with 90 websites. So, why the propensity obviously to switch and have multiple different accounts. So only the brands that will be top of mind and will stand out because of its values, not just because of the content, but because of its values and how they tailor-make the different promos and understand the customer better, they will survive long term.
Yeah.
And I think another element which is absolutely key is making sure that we create also sustainable business. So you see that when we enter new markets, there's either focus, to push us out or to make our entry difficult, because the incumbent players are actually fearful about, what it would mean for their ecosystem. It should be the other way around. Actually, the fair competition and making sure that it's a very competitive landscape should make us better. And this is where I think it's also responsibility of us as operators, but also of regulators, how to look at us as a sustainable business, to make sure that the majority of the business stays legal in the white rather than in the black, because the real risk to our industry comes from the illegal domain.
Right. It's interesting. I feel like I've noticed at these conferences and at these types of events that there is a pretty open conversation and pretty open dialogue between competitors while you're here, because it seems like, and maybe that's just the front, but it seems like you will learn a lot from each other. You actively can have a conversation where you can say this works, this doesn't, this is what we're dealing with. They may say the same thing, and you're learning from what they're doing to better your business. Do you feel that when you're at these conferences?
Yes, so I think we can divide the operators into two categories. The small operators that basically focus on survival or operating white label brands, and they fight for survival. And this is one, and I value this. This is private businesses struggling with everyday basis. But you can also expect that this kind of businesses have very long-term vision for themselves.
Sure.
Because they are fighting every day for sustainability of their own ecosystem.
Right.
And then you have big players, where it's much easier to find common ground, because yes, on everyday basis we can compete on marketing differentiation and how we stand out or what we do, but we have different challenges in terms of regulatory complexities. So we have a lot of common challenges which bring us together, because then we have to sit down and say, okay, we cannot agree that we're gonna, we will compete, but let's sit down and focus that on these things, on these 3-4 challenges we can agree on, and then the moment we appear as one voice in front of the regulators, there are much bigger chances that the setup will improve. Otherwise, as long as we are fragmented, it's extremely challenging. So yes, the market starts to be divided into those two speeds, then and the maturity of the business also increases. So if you think of gaming 10 years ago, I think it was much more short term in terms of we have to all survive.
Not necessarily knowing where it's going to go, how long.
But now, because of the market consolidation, because of also the investments that have gone into product technology, customer treatment and understanding, then you end up with an ecosystem of companies that understand, okay, it's our also social responsibility to show up, how we show up, and if we show up right, then there is a bigger chance that we're going to have sustainable business for the future.
Right.
The challenge remains obviously with high fragmentation and with with what happens with, uniforming also the either tax regimes or different, in different countries. So every jurisdiction has its own frictions and challenges. Yeah, and then it comes to actually marketing, how we
Well, so
stand
I was
out.
going to ask,
Yeah.
and we kind of wrap up with this marketing strategy, but so how do you stand out? What are the channels that you like, and kind of how do you determine the success of those channels?
So I'll tell you like this: if you majority of our companies in our sector are doing all the same thing,
Yeah.
and that's why me particularly I like to get inspired by companies which are outside of our sector, and so without creating advertising for somebody else, let's call it when you have energy drink industry, right? So you have a good which basically is not a majority of people don't even like the taste. Okay, the chemical formula is roughly the same regardless of the brand.
Across, yeah.
It's 18 plus because in majority of countries actually energy drink should be it's for 18 plus or 21 plus depending on the jurisdiction. So it is like gaming.
Yeah.
And basically, so how you stand out in this commodity good? When you go to the shelf of energy drinks, you see all these fancy cans. There are one or two brands that actually stand out.
Right.
So me personally, I look at this as an inspiration. So what we are trying to do as Superbet is communicate next to the product. We don't give you samples, in supermarket of this particular top brand in energy drink industry. You don't see,
No, it's true. Red Bull is not giving
Yeah,
us
exactly. So you said the brand. I didn't want to advertise somebody else's, But yeah, so Red Bull doesn't advertise by giving samples. They advertise by doing things and communicating things next to sports.
Yeah.
And that's why I see that, me particularly for Superbet, I take inspiration from that. I take inspiration from Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola also doesn't give free samples in supermarkets. It is about the core values of the brand and how they are communicated next to the product.
Right.
And I think this is the key to success. To find the right formula, to find also and how to properly localize it.
Yeah.
I think it's also the era of that. There were trends. There were many different small companies, and it got consolidated. There was a trend to centralize highly and run it, through with 2-3 people in each market.
Right.
I think we passed that. I think to succeed, you can do that if you want to have a flag in a specific jurisdiction and have up to 5% market share. I think you can still do it like this. But if you want to be podium player, you want to be the leader of that market, and your ambition should be like us at Superbet. When I think my ambition in Poland is that Superbet is today seen as a Polish brand, and in Romania, Superbet is seen as a Romanian brand.
Right.
And in a year or year and a half from now, Superbet will be seen as a Brazilian brand. I think this is the ambition. And in order to achieve that, you need to have a very strong, team on the ground, empowered, fast-moving, and understanding the local dynamics very, very well. I think this is in reality, so the right communication and how to communicate that you don't disturb the regulatory regime and it's not about plastering your logo everywhere.
Right.
Go away from that.
It's about integrating yourself.
It's about
into
integrating, making sure that it's genuine.
Yeah.
So very often I'm quite allergic to, you touch on responsible gaming. I'm fully for it. But when I see, for example, campaigns about responsible gaming, but they are not going through or pass through to actually real values of the brand, then it doesn't look genuine. If you do the right things and you communicate it, then it's completely different.
Yeah.
And I think so this is responsible gaming. It's also about the commercialization. If you are your customer, if you are about doing what is right, make sure that it speaks through your promos. Make sure that you don't bring tricky turnover conditions. Make sure that your wagering conditions are not, something that
you're actually offering.
Make
something
sure
that's
that you
nice.
are fair in everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Then the customer will appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then whatever you do will have a completely different flavor, and it will actually, remain. And
succeed.
exactly, you will succeed, and it will be a sustainable business.
I mean, that's a bit of a mic drop moment. it's the framework for somebody that's coming in and maybe is early stages in the industry, or a smaller operator that is kind of looking to eventually be in a similar position. But I appreciate the insight. I think that's amazing, and I think you gave our listeners some really great tidbits to take home. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and
where can people follow along if they wanted to follow along your journey? And then obviously, if you're in the correct country, look up Superbet, and I'm sure you're on all of the social channels for Superbet.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So feel free to reach out, and whoever feels this is inspiring, or also feels that Superbet is a place for him or her. Yeah. Now I think you guys understand what we stand for.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Amazing. If you guys liked this episode, please hit subscribe. We always have amazing people coming on to the show. And Adam, thanks again. It was great to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks.